Tonight, 7:30. So we have it inside Gildo's room up the top. You know where the bar is, the other bar in the hotel, straight down the end of the hallway. We generally try and meet there approximately 7:30. And but we'll be going up to dinner at 8. And those who want a quick drink can have one, so we can gather, give everyone time to meet and gather. Those who want to sing tonight, your national anthem or something, whatever, let me know. I'll put you on the program. We have quite a program for entertainment tonight. Gildo will be doing Aida and a couple of other opera songs, and the Swiss are going to do their wonderful childhood song. And Patrick Schneeberger, hopefully, will be turning up to entertain. Then we'll be singing Waltzing Matilda, and anybody else who gets the urge after a couple of drinks, who knows? What do you like to sing?
It's better for everyone if I don't sing.
Okay, well you can be at the end so we can clear everyone out.
There you go.
I'll get up and leave. Okay, well we'll begin. The last ones are going to miss out on the return of serve. Now you're all having trouble returning a serve here, but you're not alone on the island. All the people coming from usually the tournament was always held here the first week after Wimbledon. And everyone all the top players had trouble keeping the ball in. Because of the altitude, you don't have to be swinging too much. Matter of fact, the shorter the swing you have, the better. The way to play here in the altitude is to kick your serve high, and everybody has difficulty if you want to come in and getting it to your shoelaces. So then if they can't get it to the shoelaces, they go back like Bjorn Borg. Bjorn Borg was the first one to start standing a long way back, because he swung on every forehand, a complete swing, and a complete swing on this side. And he was so successful and such a great player that everyone emulated Borg from then on and stood 20 feet behind the baseline. And because at that stage in Borg's career, there weren't too many good serve and volleyers left at that area. So except when McEnroe started to come up, and then they had quite a lot of tough matches against each other. Borg never won the US Open, but he did win the French, and he did win Wimbledon a number of times. I think it was almost 6 times, I think, wasn't it? 6 times he won it? Borg?
5 Wimbledons.
5 Wimbledons, 6 French. That's his 11th Grand Slam. The reason being, on the hard courts at Flushing Meadows, the ball would get up quite high. And being standing way back, when someone does that, what you do is you take pace off your serve and get it short. For example, a left-hander would like to serve it here, and someone standing back would have to hit it in the shed somewhere. So you take your pace off, and on the forehand court here, you're halfway up the service line with a bit of slice, opens up the court. And that's ideal to do, because then you can go wide or back behind the player as they're trying to cover the wide ball. So the great returners really on all surfaces, I think Agassi would have been one of the toughest to serve to because he stood in so close, and he was so successful because he used the pace of the server and just blocked the ball back with a short, compact swing. He had a little top on it, but not much, because once you start putting exaggerated top and rolling your wrist, very difficult to get the ball at the feet. Whenever I played someone who's got a lot of topspin on one side, I served high to that side and came to the net, because I had 95% of the time I had a volley up here rather than a volley at my shoelaces. So that's what you've got to think when you're playing someone. Where can I serve if I'm serving and volleying and I don't have shoelace returns all the time? So then you might try kicking the ball high to get it up. So then he's back trying to do this with a high one, and it's awfully difficult. Most of the players today hit high over the net to get it deep with topspin. So once there's a good all-round player with the ability of being very competent on the baseline and very competent at the net, is going to really rule tennis for a long time, because it has got, in the amateur days, it was pretty one-dimensional, people serving and bowling pretty much, and about 5 people or clay court players staying back. Now it's everyone staying back and only a couple of players serving and bowling out of 128 in the women and the men. So when returning, the first important thing is to get into the point, but not to the stage that you're pushing the returns. You've got to be fairly aggressive but under control, and that requires early preparation of the racket plus a lot of foot movement, so you're not stuck with your feet like this as you're hitting every return. First thing you do, taking this as the baseline, when you're standing you should be legs bent, and the first thing you do is take preparation, pivot, so that you're getting the racket back early. Then you can look at the clouds, see if any weather's coming in, because you've got plenty of time to hit the ball, and get your feet organized. So you're not standing here and then trying to return with your legs straight, no pivot of your shoulders, the weight's on the balls. So you're here. Now you can go forward, little steps, and hopefully have your shoulders this way, so you're not always on the back foot hitting high returns. Too big a swing. Someone hits a hard serve. That's why that long match that was played for 3 days with Isner and Mabout from France took 3 days to play, because neither could return their serves. Because when someone hits a hard ball, that's pretty much the easiest shot to return if it's not over 140 miles an hour. If you go the right way, you turn and you just use this. No more than that. Try all of this, you'll never keep it in the court. Plus, it'll be high or short. If you're coming in, it's up here, and now you've got to hit someone who's punching a volley. The whole idea if someone's coming to the net is you're wanting them to open the face of the racket at the feet. Then you do your second shot. Cross, then you can do whatever you want with the second shot. First returns to set yourself up, not to finish the point. And once you get that into your head, then you'll start returning better and be a pain to serve to. I hated serving to Ken Rosewall, because it didn't matter what serve you put in, it came back at your feet. And that put a bit more pressure on a big point, because you didn't want to hit a volley on a big point. So what you do, you try to ace him. Now you're in bigger trouble because you missed your first serve. Then he would eat you up on the second. So where do you go? So that's how you want somebody to respect your return of serve. That, God, this guy never misses, you know. and then your tennis really gets good. So the grips, always have those with two hands are fortunate because they can have a nice eastern forehand grip, hopefully, which is good to block the ball back and also slice, and also a little top if you wanted to. Because you don't need to. This is the swing today on the forehand is made for people using Western grips. And you can't block a serve with that, you have to take a full swing. And your chances on a ball hit real hard with a full swing of keeping it low, the only good thing you can do on that is way back where ball played, so you get it high over the net and a loopy ball right at the back that people have a little difficulty with. Against a good player coming to the net, it gets too short too often. Length on the ball is this big point when you play. So those using one hand on this side and this side, my forehand was worse than my backhand. So instead of an eastern forehand, I'd have it about here, not a continental grip on the first serve. Because on the first serve, you don't have time to be changing grips. You're holding the racket here with the fingertips, and the racket's down here, not cocked up with a wrist like that, which is a weak position. So, and this helps, and that helped me on the forehand, because they'd be going to my forehand most of the time on big points, so I'd give it a little help. It needed a bit of help. And as a result, I returned quite well, and on the backhand I could hit the return, didn't matter what grip I was using. Very, very comfortable on this side, not so much on this. So choose whatever you want to use. I suggest using a continental or a forehand grip, the two-handed ones, but really work on this pivot. Not a big backswing, and then go to the ball if you can. Now this is a baseline. You should be standing around the baseline, and if you can't react quick enough on a big serve, or you can't prepare early enough, go back a bit further. So it gives you time. Going parallel with the baseline is acceptable. That's acceptable. This is wonderful. Slightly going forward. So when you prepare and you can go into the court this way, that helps keep your shoulders down, and you can get the ball early enough to get it across court from here, down the line from there. So that's all you're thinking about is being here. A big high serve, you're still up in here. And have your weight on this foot rather on the heels, doing something that's pulling with the arm. Same on the forehand. Now before someone serves to you, a good server, and they don't do enough of that in my opinion today. When someone serves to you, you should always make up your mind what you're going to do with it. For example, 30, 40 points. I used to say, okay, if he serves to my forehand, I'm going to go down the line. If it goes to my backhand, this is the easiest shot is across court, and whenever in doubt, cross court is the most comfortable shot. Down the line you have to have great timing of where you meet the ball and making sure that the head goes down the line when you want to hit it. Probably about only 3 or 4 players in the men and women who can go down the line well. Cross court pretty much all the time. That's a cross court game. Now if they get a serve in too good that I can't go across court or down the line, keeping it low if they're coming in, then I may, already I've looked at the net player to see where he's standing in doubles. So I have an out if the net player is standing too close on a big serve, so I can lob to protect my partner. Now Borg stood back here, because he never blocked the ball in his life. He never sliced the ball in his life. Everything was top and also top on this side. Now, he was very, very quick. But when he played McEnroe had a great wide serve, and he had difficulty playing McEnroe on a hard court because he would serve wide and ball would be way out of position. And McEnroe was a counter puncher. He liked pace, and he had a good touch on a volley, so he'd just drop a volley over there and serve the ball wide over to Larry. So, and also the ball got up too high, even when he was standing back here. He'd kick the ball up, and then he never couldn't play at night because he didn't have good eyes.
Lefty serve like McEnroe's a lefty server.
He's a lefty server, so he's playing all the big points on this side, and everyone's got a weaker backhand pretty much than the forehand. So left-handers are really lucky being born left-handed, because they don't have to have as good a serve as a right-hander, because very few people, there's only half a dozen left-handers in the tournament, and a lot of people don't like to play left-handers, and left-handers hate to play each other. That's why Nadal had problems returning Muller's serve. It was a different spin coming into his body. Spinning into his double-hander, he's in here all the time. And he's used to having it away from his body a bit more. All that stuff, which is...
But a righty returner always seems to have to go across the court with that ball. Never, right. The ball just goes there when you...
Well, everybody's, even in baseball, not many, they all pull the ball.
Yeah.
Everybody pulls the ball in tennis, cross court. When in doubt where to cover, go cross court. So, but if someone's really turning wide and keeping their head down, they can go down the line just as well. This causes people to go across court all the time when you're falling off cover. Same here. Hard to go down the line when you're coming around with your leg as you're hitting the ball. That automatically pulls your arm across. And Danny, can you show them how to return? Yeah. Michelle?
Yep.
It's awful having a perfect action, Michelle. There wasn't a lot of work to do. Yep. And what'll help you a lot is and the thing is, you can go out and play a match when you go home and don't miss a return of serve. I'd love to get an email. And now if you set yourself that, I did it twice in about 18, 20 years. But if you respect what comes to you and prepare, down the line, cross court, down the line again. Now that's if someone's coming in, he's trying to get depth. But if someone serves and volleys, all he's trying to do is read it early and get to the shoelaces of the incoming serve. Good. Yep. Stop. Okay, 1 minute. Now, when the judge of a good server is not how hard they hit the first serve, is how good their second serve is. Not much difference from the first. And if someone gets a second serve here all the time, that keeps the good returner back. Now, if you're always serving the second serve up here, this is where you take it. You go way forward to it, take that short serve, short swing, because the closer you get to the net, the shorter your swings are. When you're back here, you can lengthen it a bit, but not up here. Don't want to be doing all of this up in this area. So you just take that like that there and come on in. the second serve. Get it to the feet. Now he's down here, and you two people are at the net. So take advantage of second serves. Hit a couple of second serves, and Danny will show you how to take forward on that. That's why he was a good doubles player, because he took advantage of the second serve and even followed. Good returners in doubles usually follow the second serve in, because they got the player cutting out the time for the player to get to the net, so they can't get in too close. Good. Now do a real short one over there, and doubles on the backhand or forehand. Good. So all you're trying to do is just not overhit it. He's doing a little bit of top, but not too much. Because once you start doing too much, it gets a bit risky. One's in, one's out, one's too early, one's too late. So you're wanting a consistent swing. Okay, one on the backhand down the middle and just chip it over there. Right, take it early. Bit high. His net player would have eaten that one. He would have eaten that one too. Pitiful. What do you have for breakfast? He was joking with it. Okay, thanks. Well done. Thanks. Got the idea? Now that's all you have to do on return of serve. And now that guy coming in has trouble. And when someone's trying to cross on you, you just do that also. You take the net player out of action. All right, let's get going.